Today we're going really small again. Almost to the point of unusable. So let's check it out. First things first, rate this fit from 1 to 6. Cop or drop? Anyway, starting with the mini bag of choice, the new Alpaca Atom X sling bag. This geometrically satisfying look with a sturdy nylon build, which yes, means waterproofing all around along with the AquaGuard zippers too. It's a very flat bag, and I kinda dig that. The bag hugs your body like a piece of clothing. It's inconspicuous and amazing when you, well, only need to carry many things around. Except when it comes to the strap, which contradicts all that given how large the magnetic buckle is, but I'm not complaining though, as it keeps the bag from flopping around. So stripping down to give you a better view, let's start with the front quick access pocket. They use a RFID blocking self-sanitizing material that's embedded with copper and silver nanoparticles, which they claim to defend against bacteria and certain viruses. Now, I can't confirm or deny that, but to me though, it's just a fairly flat but large pocket fitting around 2 handfuls, and of course with a key loop built in and integrated clip for easy access. So for this mini EDC build and our first mini piece, this is the Komuso Shift. In simple terms, it's a 2-inch stainless steel tube, built as tough as it sounds and cut and shaped very eloquently. It may look just like jewelry, and it totally could pass as some fancy looking necklace, as it does include a neck chain too, but the tube shape inside is actually meant to help you breathe, but slower. The length and size of the small tube is designed to extend each exhaling breath to about 10 seconds long, as studies have shown that proper breathing can help with stress, blood pressure, and just slowing things down. And in this day and age, taking a moment to calm down and feel in control isn't so bad. As for other quick access needs, this one's thanks to our sponsor, the Raycon Everyday E25 wireless earbuds, which yes, are from the R&B singer Ray J. This tiny pill-shaped case stores even tinier bean-shaped earbuds, and the E25 is just meant for everyday usage. There's no fancy gimmicks or any special features, it just does the basics really well at half the cost of other premium earbuds. First and foremost, the size. They're so small, they actually sit inside the ear and don't stick out obnoxiously. Now, while I'm no audiophile, they do sound good. Plus, with its one-button operation, it makes it super simple to use, which also won't require you to jam your finger into your ear to do so. They're also IPX4 waterproof rated, so while you can't go swimming with these, it's good enough in the rain or if you're an excessive head sweater like I am. Like I said, they've got the basics pat down, so you can just enjoy your jams. Like possibly the 2005 hit single from Ray J, One Wish. Comment down below if you know the feels. And in comparison to other daily essentials, only the size of a peanut even comes close. It supports about 6 hours of playback on a single charge, and with the charging case, a total of 24 hours. Plus the case has this soft rubber touch that is pretty satisfying to feel up. So you can throw these in your pocket without worrying about them bulging out, and always be ready for any jam sessions. Plus, you can also save an additional 15% at buyraycon.com/accessorizeme. Next up, easily one of the tiniest wallets that packs a punch, the Andar Fin. Essentially, it's a flap of leather that's sewn onto some elastic, but the fact that they use full grain Crazy Horse vintage leather, I ain't even mad. It also offers a very clean stitching job and some pretty thick elastic too, so although it's a very affordable wallet, they didn't cut any corners with this one. In terms of size, it's actually slightly shorter than a regular size credit card, and only as thick as it needs to be, as all the material here has a purpose. Starting with that slanted leather cut, a quick access pocket, I like to store a single card in because the inner 2 pockets have plenty of room for everything else. I've got 9 cards in total here, but it could totally go more if you're some sort of cards hoarder or just a dad. Then there's this center gap for everything else, but realistically probably for some cash money. The elastic keeps everything in place, and the shorter design means it's actually easier to get to as well. In the end, it is just a large gap, so you could totally store your daily essentials if you really want to risk it. The elastics are durable enough that even with only a single card locked in, nothing's coming out in my scientific shake test. It's a no frills wallet, it feels good in the hand, it'll fit in your pocket comfortably, and with how easy it is to access your cards, it makes racking up debt just a little quicker. The next item is a little different. It's a camera packed into this capsule like some sort of Dragon Ball Z training pod. The Insta360 Go is the tiniest action camera I've ever used. Now, taking a closer look, the case itself is used to dock the tiny pill-shaped camera magnetically. No wires required. The camera kind of looks like Plankton from SpongeBob, which you won't be able to unsee now, and it's only got a single button on the back to start shooting. All that packed into the size of my pinky finger. It'll fit in that tiny pocket on your jeans you never use. You can slide it under your cap for easy access and a third eye vibe. If you've got big nostrils, sure, you do you, but if you're a normal person, you can clamp it in your mouth, being super careful not to swallow, or you can store it in your sock if you're butt naked and have nowhere else to put it. Then there's the included set of accessories: a hat clip, a stand mount with a sticky back, but my favorite is this magnetic necklace pendant. Tuck this under your shirt and wha-bam. The built-in magnets on the go keep it stuck in place without any rotating or movement during my dance test. Literally the easiest and fastest way I found to capture POV shots. The possibilities don't even end there. Given its small size, you can stuff this in places no other camera would fit. Thanks to its light water resistance being able to submerge underwater for up to 10 seconds, you can get some pretty unique shots like these. And for this, I literally just taped it to the palm of my hand for some finger POV action. Plus, with the flow state stabilization, you can go ham on the dance floor and you won't feel like puking when you rewatch your drunken mistakes. When you're done, you can snap it into the case auto-magically. It starts charging the camera in its protective sleeping pod, and with the built-in lightning jack, you can plug it right in and transfer all the files directly to your iPhone to edit and export. So if you're looking for some unique B-cam footage or just want to spice up visually the way you tell stories, hands down, this is the best tiny camera on the market to date. Now that's the front pocket. Although fairly flat, it's great for things you need on the fly, and the self-sanitizing material is a neat bonus for items you constantly feel up. And yeah, I still can't get over how awesome these tiny carabiner zipper pulls are. Genius, I tell you. Now before we get into the rest of the bag, I want to highlight my watch, specifically what's attached to it. This is the Mech Army CPL watch band LED light with a single power button on top and 3 levels of brightness. I'm warning you now, you will make cheesy Iron Man impersonations, or if you're like my past self filming this, ruin Spider-Man for everyone as well. But basically, it's just a tiny light that's perfect for when you need to grab something in the dark. Always having a light with you that's one large button away makes finding what you need a little less cumbersome. Plus, it's made of a titanium build, perfect because it sits in a spot that gets smacked around a lot. It easily slides onto your strap and you can adjust its position and even direction it points. But honestly, it just looks cool to have this tiny titanium cube attached to your watch, because yeah, I do like making silly Iron Man impressions sometimes. Moving up top, sealed with the AquaGuard zipper keeping everything inside dry. Again, a fairly flat pocket, but this offers a little organization in the way of 2 stretchy mesh pockets and just a deep pocket spanning the whole size of the bag. This is where my mini phone of choice is stored, obviously the iPhone SE 2. But less about the phone itself and more about what's surrounding it, starting with the later case from Unbox Therapy. I know, leave your angry comments below and let's move on, because I actually really dig this case. It's just this thin piece of carbon fiber, almost like a stiff skin. It's just that thin. Some may say it's the miniest of all cases, and to some, that's more than enough, because this soft touch rubbery kind of finish is totally worth it. It definitely feels way better than the glass finish of the iPhone, and it adds close to no bulk as it's barely taller than the buttons themselves. Yes, there are cutouts throughout the top and bottom, but the curved edges do have you covered still. And finally, they lift the case also slightly enough over the camera lens so you can do this all day long. Seriously, just think of this as a thick carbon fiber skin that offers slightly more scratch resistance, and don't expect anything more than that. But the soft touch grip should help with your buttery finger problem too. So although the case doesn't cover the screen because it's living its most minimal life, we've got the D brand Prism screen protector for that instead. Without sacrificing having a bulky case on, this screen protector can take a beating. Like, sure, I've got strong hands, but let's get serious. It can handle a real beating. Final verdict, the screen still works, and swiping right on Tinder all night long is still a go. Seriously, I went pretty ham on that, and everything is still intact. The secret being the combination of the polymer that absorbs all that force and the glass that gives you that crystal clear view of your screen. Plus, each pack comes with 2 in case you go extra ham and need to reapply. And the included dongle that plugs right into your phone and auto aligns everything for you makes it foolproof to do so as well. it doesn't even end there. Unlike other screen protectors that require a straight edge, they've managed to chamfer theirs, which is just a fancy way of saying they rounded off the edges so you won't cut your fingers on a damn screen protector when using your phone. It's such a small detail you probably wouldn't notice because it just works. So if you want to keep your tiny iPhone SE as mini as possible, adding one of these Prism screen protectors on will keep you protected without the bulk. Next up in the mesh pocket, no EDC is complete without a pen. This time going to the 0 Hour Apex mini pen, which kind of looks like a tiny barrel of a gun, and it definitely feels like one too with its all metal build, but twisted open, albeit kind of skinny, it becomes a full length pen and the cutouts actually double as grip for your fingers. Plus, since it uses a Fisher Space cartridge, you can create a masterpiece underwater as well. Seriously, when stored away, this is tiny. Look at it compared to a toothpick, one and the same. Of course, this one being built like a tank and the other, well, wabam. It's a tiny pen you can just count on to work no matter how much you toss it around. And with the built-in clip, you can securely keep it in pretty much any pocket and always be ready for a masterpiece. Now, if you lived through the 90s, you may recognize this little guy. The Pocket Sprite is a super tiny version of the old classic Game Boy. For those who don't know, it was what most kids asked for during Christmas before iPhones made them obsolete. Emulator handhelds are pretty common nowadays though, like this Nintendo Switch-like setup. So when I was curating a mini series, I couldn't pass up featuring this. The Pocket Sprite is a full-fledged working emulator at less than a quarter of the size, consisting of a few clicky buttons and a plastic shell. It's quite nostalgic and will make you reminisce the days of only having 2 buttons to interact with the game. And to answer that burning question of yours, yes, it is totally usable, albeit not the most ergonomic way of playing Game Boy ROMs, but it's possible. All in this feather-like body that can comfortably fit onto your keychain and has a single port to charge through micro USB. I'm also a fan of the matte black soft touch finish, but they do come in some rad clear designs and that classic Nintendo purple finish too. You really can't appreciate how small this whole package is until you compare it to other common objects. I just can't emphasize it enough how tiny this is while still being fully capable of running some classic Mario or Tetris, even if it means having to squint your eyes the whole time you play. Now, I'm a fan of these integrated mesh pockets. They're simple and does the trick in separating your goodies, like this Mighty Flea yo-yo from Yo-Yo Factory, made of solid steel all around and coming in at the size of about a quarter. Now, this isn't your typical yo-yo that goes up and down. It's considered a non-responsive one, so you will have to learn how to bind it to get it back up, nor is this a beginner yo-yo of any sorts. It's way tinier than a regular yo-yo, way more difficult to handle because of that, and requires special string to operate. But if you can get past all that, the solid steel design definitely feels like you're pulling out a real tool of the trade. Plus, being the size of a small coin, it easily slips into any crevice, which means you'll always be ready to cradle the baby to impress all the ladies, assuming it's still 1997. Now, if you don't wear a watch or you need some real bright output, this is another option from Mech Army, the SG-N1 flashlight. That's about just as tiny in a zinc alloy body that can output a maximum of 530 lumens in this tiny little case. Plus, it recharges through USB, so you don't need to treasure hunt for those tiny pancake batteries. A keychain loop is built into the end of it for easy carry, and the fact it's half the length of my finger means it's a no-brainer to have on you, just in case. Because if you're afraid of the dark like I am, this light will silently whisper into your ear, it's gonna be okay. Plus, it's a light you can trust to work as the whole body feels solid in the hand, and it can take quite a beating while still shining bright. If you need a just-in-case light, the SG-N1 is bright enough it's actually useful to fend off all the ghosts you hear at night. Now, that's the main top pocket. It doesn't carry a lot, but it can pack in anything relatively flat. Finally, there's the hidden pocket on the backside. Items you may not want anyone else to know about. It's a smaller pocket and fits about a single fistful at most, which is where I store my keys in the KeyBar Junior Key Organizer, which features a special guest appearance from the mini utility tool insert as well, probably my all-time favorite knife to use. When compared to the original OG KeyBar size, it's not a huge difference, but the Junior does slim down where it counts for those who may just need to carry a few keys on the daily. I personally love and recommend the titanium finish as I don't have to worry about tossing this around, and it just feels really solid in the hand. I've got a single main key on top wrapped with their quick key tab, making accessing it so easy I could do it blindfolded. And since the bottom is tapered, any key can be accessed with its own key head sticking out. I also have a key loop attachment, which is super useful for attaching my car keys when I drive, or my key fob for the office. And while all that is fine and dandy, it's this that I want to show off. Their mini utility tool is shaped and designed to fit the key bars perfectly. There's a tiny tab that sticks out, which makes whipping out the blade quick and easy, and the screws and bolts keep them in the exact exact position you need to safely use it. Look, it's a really tiny blade, but it's something I've used almost on the daily to open boxes, cut tags, and even pry things open with. I highly recommend always having a blade on you for utility purposes, and having something this tiny is way less intimidating for you and for everyone else around you. And it's also hidden inside the organizer such that there's no sharp components that stick out. So like I said, it's my perfect everyday blade, the one I always have on me without worrying about remembering to carry a whole other item, one that's sharp, I don't have to baby, and can just count on to get the job done. Finally, yes, this pocket also has its own tether with a built-in quick release buckle as well, and attached, I've got a fun one. This is the Design Ideas Coin Keeper, which is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, it's the tiniest coin purse I've ever used. It's just this thick piece of silicone with a hole cut out on both sides that stores a total of 4 quarters, surprisingly securely as well. To access, simply stretch it out and wha-bam. But when tucked in, you can confidently throw this onto your keychain and always be ready for any shopping cart, locker, or laundry machine. Sure, it's designed to only fit 4 quarters, but take this as a backup coin wallet. Or if you're really desperate for an actual purse, you can kind of store your other daily essentials too, although I don't actually recommend using it after this. Sometimes it's the simplest solutions that are the best ones. That's all the pockets on the Atom X Sling, but that doesn't mean it ends there. The MOLLE-like straps on the front allow you to go modular and add more pockets as needed, like with their phone pouch if you've got an extra large phone or something, designed with the magnetic clip, nylon water resistant exterior, and a soft microfiber interior that will let your phone know you actually care. Lastly, back to my favorite part of the bag, the zippers, and attached onto the first one is the Alpaca Nano phone stand, which also acts like a regular zipper pull, but pop it out, and this tiny piece of plastic unfolds to hold your phone up at a comfortable viewing angle for all your hands-free viewing pleasures. This is definitely one you can't disagree, being the tiniest phone stand out there. More importantly, you basically always have this on you, as it's stored in the damn zipper itself, something you literally can't forget to bring with you. Moving up top, because there weren't enough lighting options in this video, the Night Eye Ziplet, another zipper pull accessory that when turned acts as a tiny LED lantern, which I personally find useful to find the rest of all these mini items inside the bag. It's water resistant, so you don't have to worry about it in the rain, and it works great as a regular zipper pull too. That's the Alpaca Atom X Sling with the updated mini EDC version 2 set. You can check out version 1 in the description down below. Although the bag is fairly wide, this is one of the flattest sling bags I've tested, and honestly I kind of fell in love with that, as you don't have a bulging bag sticking out of your chest. This feels more like a fancy scarf with a lot of pockets.
Comment down below what the smallest piece of EDC is in your pockets. Anyways, I rest my mini EDC.